One of the best ways to prepare for declarative programming on your Paper 3 exam is to actually do declarative programming, and there's free software known as Prolog. This will allow you to actually do some of that programming, and Cambridge follows that format very closely. So we're going to go over to the website SWI-Prolog.org/download.html. Once you get there, it's going to bring up this page. You're going to click on Stable Release. And right here, you'll see there are two versions for Windows and there are two versions for the Mac operating system. If you're using Windows, you'll notice there's a 32-bit and a 64-bit edition. The 32-bit is if you have 4 gigs of RAM or less. The 64-bit version is if you have 8 gigs or more. So you can check out your system specs to see how much RAM your computer has, and then once you find that out, you'll be able to download the right version. Now let's swing over into Prolog and actually do some programming and learn how it works. And this is what Prolog looks like when it opens up. It can be a little overwhelming at first. It can be a little hard to use, especially if you have no experience with it, but we're going to go through this. So let's switch over, get some basic information that we're going to need to know so we can read the Cambridge exam and know exactly what they want. And then we'll switch over and we'll actually add a collection of facts to use with Prolog. So there are 3 basics that you need to know. 1, you need to know what facts are, you need to know what rules are, and you need to know what queries are. So program logic is expressed in what is known as clauses. It's a collection of facts and rules. Now the problems to be solved are done by what is known as a query, which is a goal. A clause is written as head, defined as, which is a :dash body. And we'll come back to this because you'll see this later on. Now, let's talk about facts and clauses. A clause without a body is known as a fact without that :dash. So we're going to create some rules and talk about what each rule means. So these are the rules we're going to use. So clause 1, when I'm looking at the very first one, means Paris is a capital city. That's how it's read. Paris is a capital city. Capital city is known as a predicate, and Paris in the parentheses is known as an argument. So let's switch over to Prolog and let's create these 3 facts. Once we're back in Prolog, we need to open a knowledge base, or actually create a knowledge base, to put all those facts into place. I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to click on New. You're going to see a save screen. I'm going to hit EX1, Save. Then you're going to see this screen pop up. This is our knowledge base where we place all our facts. So let's go ahead and let's place those facts. So capital city, Paris. Now, once I am done entering my fact, I put a period. That's known as a stop. It lets Prolog know, hey, I'm done entering one fact. I'm ready to enter my next one. Notice the C in capital. It's lowercase. Anytime you start a word with a capital letter in Prolog, it reads it as a variable. Capital city is not a variable. It's part of my fact. So I start it with a lowercase letter. Then I do capital city again. The next one we want to add is Berlin. I put a period. That's known as a stop. I'm telling Prolog again, hey, I'm done with this fact. I'm ready to enter my next one. I'm going to do capital city again, and I want to make sure it's spelled correctly, and we're going to do Cairo. I put a period. I'm done. I can add as many facts to my knowledge base as I want. Once I'm done, I'm going to click File, Save As. And what I want to do here is I want to point this out. Notice it says All Files. When I save it, EX1, notice it's not there where I saved it earlier. So I'm just going to click Save. I'm going to hit OK. Once we're done with that, I can close my knowledge base, and now what I can do is I can work with it. Before I work with it though, I need to consult the knowledge base. I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to click Consult. Now, notice my EX1 is not listed there, even though it says Prolog source. There are 3 Prolog sources. Even when I change it, it doesn't show up. So what you need to know is you need to click on All Files, and there it is. We can double click it, and then we'll see in green that it has loaded successfully. If we see a red error message, that means we need to go back and fix something, but we should not have any errors. Now that I have it, I can enter my query. Maybe I can find out, is Paris a capital city? So I type in capital city and I type in Paris. Once I'm done with my query, I hit a period. That lets it know that I'm done with my query. I hit enter and it says Paris is a capital city according to the knowledge base. So we'll try another one. We did Berlin. So I'm going to try Berlin. I put a period known as my stop. I hit enter. That is also true. The last one I had was Cairo. But let's say I try Kairos. I put a period. That shows up as false. So this is how you're going to use Prolog to add in your facts. Let's add some more facts to our knowledge base and take a look at how to use variables inside our knowledge base as well. So you can see that we're going to add more facts to our knowledge base, and adding more to the knowledge base can allow us to use a variable that tells us what country the capital is actually in. So let's edit our knowledge base first. Let's add these additional facts, and then we'll consult it and see where these capital cities are actually located. Once we get back into Prolog, we're simply going to add these facts, and here's how they're read. City in country. Paris is a city in the country of France. Berlin is a city in the country of Germany. So notice we'll have city first. That's listed first, followed by the country. We're not looking at capitals. We have capital cities in our knowledge base, but now we can find out where these cities are actually located. So let's go ahead and let's use those variables. I'm going to close this. I'm going to consult my knowledge base. So I'm going to click on consult. And this is the one that I was using. If you have the ones with the squiggly line, you can use the one without the squiggly line. And I notice this is the right one because it says there are 7 clauses located. So I can do city in country. And then let's say I want to know, okay, what is in France? So I can do city, comma, France. I put a period. City equals Paris. So that tells me, hey, Paris is located in France. Let's say I didn't know what country Paris was located in. Then I could do city in country. And then this time what I would do is I would do Paris, comma, country. I put my period, and I want to spell country correctly. It doesn't matter if we spell it correctly or not because it's a variable. It says France. Let me show you what I mean by it doesn't have to be spelled correctly. When you do Paris, you can do any capital letter. Cambridge is a big fan of using X, Y, and Z, so you'll probably use that, but you'll see X is equal to France. Now, there's something else that you're going to want to see here. City in country. Now, let's say I'm looking for a city that is located in Germany. I put my period. Notice there is no period here. If you look closely when we did these first, when we did city, comma, France, the period is after Paris. When we did Paris, comma, country, the period is after France. That is the stop command. Notice here, Berlin does not have a stop command. So I'm going to hit my semicolon. Now, Munich has that stop command. So when there's more than one result, you're not going to see the stop command. Now let's take a look back at some more things we can do with Prolog and create some rules. All right, moving on from facts to rules. Now you can write if statements and use logic words such as and or not. So we're going to write an if statement for the following rule below. And here's how you read the rule. This is a rule for a grandparent. We say G is the grandparent of S if. And that's what this means. This colon dash means if. Only if the following is true. If G is the parent of P and we have this comma, that comma means and. So we say G is a grandparent of S if G is the parent of P and P is the parent of S. That is the rules to determine if somebody is a grandparent. So let's go ahead and solve for this as well. What is the value of G and P? Well, we see Fred is a parent of Jack. We see Fred is a parent of Aaliyah. We see Fred is the parent of Paul. And Dave is the parent of Fred. So now we can try to solve for G and P. We can see, is Dave a grandparent of Jack? We can check that out. Well, what is the rule for that? Well, if let's see here, if Dave is the parent of Fred, So G is Dave, P is Fred, and Fred, which is P, is the parent of S, which is the grandson, Jack. So this should come out to showing who the grandparent of Jack is. So let's swing over to Prolog. Let's add this so we can look at it at a little more in depth and a little more clearly to see exactly how it works. I have already created a new knowledge base called family. I'm going to add these facts. I'm going to add the fact about the parents. I'm going to say Fred is a parent of Jack, because I'm definitely going to need that for the rule I'm going to write in a minute. Then I'm going to add another parent. I'm going to say Fred is also a parent of Aaliyah. I'm just going to add some facts here. I'm going to say Fred is also a parent of Paul. And then I'm going to say that Dave is the parent of Fred. Now, in declarative programming, it's going to look at these rules and it's going to be able to make judgments based on the rules that we write. So let's write the rule for a grandparent. One way is to list everybody who's a grandparent. The other way is to look at the relationships and make decisions based on the relationships, which are the facts we have written. We're going to say grandparent, capital G. We don't know what the user is going to enter. We don't know the grandkid the user is going to enter either. So that actually needs to be S, because we're going to use P in a minute. Then I write that if, which is colon dash, and then I do G is a grandparent of S if the following is true. If G is the parent of P, comma, which means and P is the parent of S. And I'm going to put my stop command. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this and we're going to consult it. So let's switch over and do that now. Now we can see if we wrote our rule correctly to see if Dave is the grandparent of Jack. So what we're going to do is we're going to type that in. We're going to do grandparent. And I want to see who is the grandparent of Jack. Well, the grandparent of Jack is Dave. So Dave is a grandparent of Jack. Now there's something else I can do. I can do grandparent, and I can see who is the the grandkids of Dave. So if I put Dave and I use Y, you'll see Jack is a grandkid of Dave. Aaliyah is a grandkid of Dave, and so is Paul. Now there's something else you can do. Grandparent, where we can put in two variables, X and Y. When I put my stop command, it says Dave is the grandparent of Jack. Notice there is no period, so I'm going to hit my semicolon. Dave is the grandparent of Aaliyah, and Dave is the grandparent of Paul. So when you're looking at these variables, you can have two variables. This also allows you to see if you have written your rule correctly. Hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to help the channel grow, and we'll see you guys in the next Cambridge Review video.